What's going on, guys? All right, so there's a lot of stuff going on in Florida. I'm sure you guys have heard with the UPS situation and the Pensacola shooting. We're going to get into that on this episode of Warfighter Wednesday. Right. What's going on, guys? Bobby James here with Instructor Zee and Will Howard. Hey, man, we've missed you guys for the last couple of weeks. A lot of things been going on at the shop. We had Black Friday. Hope all you guys had a good Thanksgiving. But we are back at it now. And there's been a lot of stuff going on down in Florida. We've had...
stuff going on in Florida? No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man in Florida.
Yes, yeah, it's been crazy. We had a situation with a couple of jewel robbers that hijacked UPS truck and ended up not in a good situation for anybody. I think there was a lot of things that could have been done to save a whole bunch of people's lives. But what is your take on that?
Well, and I've seen the video that I'm sure everyone's seen on TV or on the internet. And I read up on it a little bit. It said the ending was there was 4 losses of life. The 2 jewel thieves, right? They died. 41-year-old so-and-so and 41-year-old so-and-so. And then the UPS driver, which there's a big thing on the internet about it now. People are like putting memorial flowers on his vehicle and everything. And then also a bystander, which I didn't look into that much. I don't even know much about that. 4 people died. I think it's a terrible situation. And I can't speak for the police officers there, right? Because I don't know everything, the totality of the events and what they had going on and what their limitations were. I know that they got caught in a situation where they had to pursue these guys that were shooting shots out of a vehicle, danger to the community. So they pursued them. They stopped in traffic, right? We see it in the video. They got held up in traffic. For whatever reason, maybe the driver refused to drive anymore because I guess they could have told him, hey, smash through those cars or something. Anyway, they stopped. Cops surrounded them, tried to contain them, used bystander vehicles as cover. And from there on, it looked like there were some shots. Maybe something sparked something off where there was multiple shots. At least I think it said 18 police officers shot.
Yeah, over 200 rounds.
Yeah, 18 police officers shot. So, and I can speak on that from personal experience as far as when you're in a stressful situation, life-threatening potentially, and then one person gets on it like pow, 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 pow. It's like that's the go-ahead. Yep. I guess we're all freaking going cowboy, and maybe that was the case, and I understand that a lot. It's just it's hard to differentiate between when I need to be aggressive and when it's not really worth it, right? If they're not being, and I don't know. I know none of the cops got shot, right? But if they wasn't being effective with their fire, meaning the bad guys from the UPS truck, and the cops went straight up suppressive fire ambush style on them, there's a determination to make there. Like for your emotions, you got to withhold your emotions and say, all right, am I taking effective fire? And if I just let loose on this guy, yeah, I mean, if I'm at the range or they're down range in the field and there's nothing behind them and I can just let loose because aggressive firepower, fire superiority, that's great. But in that very I guess very tight situation as far as safety and knowing what's beyond your target, all those good firearm safety rules, right? It's a hard call. You can't just let rounds loose. It's like doing CQB in a house CQB. I mean, you like to spray and pray, but you can't because there's other things that you don't want to get hit. They can get shot.
My whole thing is where was this department's protocol for this kind of a situation? Usually if you are in a situation where there is a ton of possible collateral damage in this, there's a ton of innocent bystanders and stuff, you'll kind of let that threat get down the road. Obviously they had air assets, so they had a helicopter in the sky, right? So why would they have not let these guys go, back off a little bit to stop the incoming fire? Not only that, but follow them to a better situation to where They don't have any of that, right? Instead of just going, hey, let's do this right now in traffic, hiding behind civilians' cars, and number one, 200 rounds into a big brown truck, okay? 200 rounds. I don't know if you get fixated on that target and you're like, hey, this is a big steel box, my rounds aren't going to go through this. Or if you're like, hey, listen, I'm just shooting into this big brown box and I'm not really worried about what's on the other side of it because, like you said, you're in that tunnel vision like, oh, hey, we're shooting now.
Well, plus you got that auditory go-ahead signal kind of like, like my buddy's freaking, we must be getting on it right now. We need to let loose. Yeah, I don't know what their policy. I'm sure their policy says something. You know, if they know, I know there's a lot of gray area here because in my mind I'm thinking I don't have enough information, but just playing devil's advocate, you know, troubleshooting it from both sides. Like you're getting a call, all you know is there's jewelry thieves. Now, did they know that there was a guy in there with them, or did they think that these guys just stole a UPS truck? So that changes your mindset a little bit. Like if we don't know it's a hostage situation, which it turned out to be, maybe they didn't have that information right away. So maybe they didn't realize there was a civilian inside the truck that was, you know, would be in the line of fire if they shot because these guys stole the truck. They're shooting at us from that truck. All I know is there's these two guys in the truck shooting at me. Yeah. So I give them that benefit of the doubt, right? Because you don't have a lot of information, and plus it's hard to think about all the information you may have been given on the fly when you're worried about getting shot at. You know, so I understand it from that viewpoint.
But you do know that there's a ton of civilians around you, and you do know that you are taking incoming fire because you are coming up on them.
Yeah.
So my first thing would be like, okay, cool, listen, here's the situation. You always got to assess the situation, right? So we're taking all this, same thing with any kind of situation, any high-speed chase, anything like that. What do they usually do? They let them go. They're like, cool, man, go. Just go. We keep our distance until we know we don't
if there's a helicopter on them.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to lose the helicopter.
Well, it's different when you know that they're a threat to the public and the community, knowing that they've got guns and they're shooting.
Yeah, but
they're shooting at you.
You're
they're
shooting at the
civilians.
they're shooting at the cops that are tailing them.
Well, they can't just let you go if they know that you just robbed somebody.
Well, of course,
you're shooting at somebody. And now, contrary to what I just said, maybe they did know that they had that guy in the truck, and they're like, well, we're not letting them get away with this innocent guy that they got in the truck. We got to stay close to him. But I get what you're saying, like, not
de-escalate the situation
like they do around here. The policy is don't chase anybody, get their tag, get them later if they're not a threat to the public, obviously.
Yeah.
But this time, just give them some distance, give them some space, and go with them until maybe you're in a better location where you can execute better tactics.
Because they might have let that dude leave that UPS truck if they didn't feel as if they needed somebody in that truck to get away, right? So if you let that distance, right, get greater and greater, and they go, okay, cool, you know what? Like, all right, now let's negotiate and get that guy off the truck instead of, because how do you know that guy didn't have a helper in the truck, like what you're saying, right? Yeah. So now you're going to engage a truck in which you don't know what your backstop is. You don't know who's in the vehicle. All you know is you're just shooting a truck.
Well, I will say this, and Will, I think you need to chime in before we move off subject, not off subject, but to a different area of the subject. So we're talking about police's execution of their tactics and techniques and procedures in that particular circumstance. So I will say this. There is a such thing as tactical patience. We call it in the military, right? You got to be under fire, but realize when you're relatively safe under fire and you have time to think, organize, maneuver, right? And that's one of those situations where it requires a lot of tactical patience. Like I want to shoot. Like if you're shooting at me, I just want to, like, you know, a caveman that says, or lizard brain, just freaking aggression back, right? Yeah. But we as professionals, or them as professionals, us as prior professionals, we know that we got to organize our efforts to a degree, and that requires that tactical patience. Like I want to CQB, for instance, we want to get in a room, and if everybody was all amped up, we just keep running from room to room, then you lose your buddy, and everything's chaos. I need to clear this room and then set up on the next room and then go in. Patience, tactically. So maybe, despite whether their policy is wrong, right, whatever, or whatever their situation is, tactical patience could have been exercised there. And I think if any of those cops in there God bless them, and I know they're doing the best they can. Most of these guys, I say, they all would look back at it and say, yeah, tactical patience would be good. You know, calmness under fire, which requires some exposure to that type of situation, at least a high level of training relative to the stress of combat, right?
Yeah.
In order to be good in those situations. So that is definitely true. Some tactical patience exercises would have been better, and I think all of them would agree with it if they look at it. But again, they're in the middle of the shit, so I understand how it feels.
So some of the huge takeaways that I had from, and I've read about and I've watched a bunch of videos as well as some of the cell phone videos that some of the people captured there. Few things is, I think the way that you put it, tactical patience is a very great way to put that. You have a chopper on one of the most blatantly obvious and slow moving vehicles that you probably pick from. He's in a giant ass UPS truck. Not like
lose him.
You're not like, it's not like you're gonna lose him anytime soon. So coming up on him so fast and so hard in the middle of almost 360-degree traffic of innocent bystanders, probably not the best. Definitely not the best choice whatsoever. And I don't know if they did have the intel on there, if they did have a hostage, but giving them the benefit of the doubt that say they didn't have that information. I think what you were saying before, Z, when you see one guy going, I think that it's a mental trigger to, well, like, oh, he's hopping out of his car. I guess it's go time right now. Let's go. So, and then every single person following them is out and now shooting in a vehicle. I'm interested to know what their communications were in the cars before they hopped out. Did they have a plan? Did they even fucking talk about a plan? Or did they just say, hey, as soon as our earliest convenience, we're going to light this thing up? So I think establishing a game plan and communication between the cars, be like, hey, car so-and-so is in front. If we get to a stopping point, these two people or these two cars are going to hop out and maybe assess the situation or close in on them in a tactical way, instead of just everyone free-for-alling going out.
I'll tell you what, once you get into that situation, that radio goes and you're getting shot at, you're not hearing that radio anyway. You're just like, oh, what the hell's going on?
I'm saying before this situation, obviously they were trailing that car for some time, so obviously there was some type, or should have been some type of communications within the car to sketch out a very rough plan of when this vehicle does stop, because they know what time of day it is. They know where the traffic's at. They're not dumb. They do these routes every single day. They know where the people are at. So to just go free for all at the earliest convenience, I think is extremely wrong on their part. And another thing, let's say they did know that there was a hostage in there. Why? And this is just the thing that popped into my mind. Why are these normal, basically just street cops even handling the situation whatsoever? Why didn't they wait till a properly trained, so like SWAT or the equivalent of SWAT, whatever Miami has, I'm sure Miami has a SWAT team, could be on that scene to handle this situation? Why didn't they just let it go back? If those, now I don't know, they don't say who started shooting first, but I doubt these guys were just hanging out of cars just trying to pop people as they drive by. They got plenty of other stuff to worry about.
Reports I've seen that they wasn't popping just random civilians.
Exactly.
They were trying to just keep the cops off of them.
Yeah.
Shooting back towards them. There was a report of them shooting back at the vehicles, or the cops hearing gunshots as they were pursuing them. And I think some of their, on the cops' behalf, we have to look at it like it was more of a fluid situation. Like, hey, they're getting information as they're pursuing a truck because whatever they, jewelry robbery, jewelry store robbery, and UPS truck, and they're like, all right, there's a truck, let's try to pull it over. It's not stopping. It's fluid, so they're making decisions on the fly. And I bet that tactical patience comes in. So they get there, they surround it. From what I can tell from the video, what I read, there was no go to shit moment where the robbers came out just blazing, like, just take me,
exactly,
like Scarface or something.
Yep.
So there's where that tactical patience comes in. So because I think ideally what the cops would like to do is, all right, we set up a perimeter, we isolate this vehicle. Hopefully we could push some of those bystander vehicles, like y'all just push each other, even if y'all rub bumpers together, like squeeze up. They're rubbing, they're bumping as they're using the car as cover. But I mean, like, they would like to have time to isolate, build that perimeter, push bystanders away, and then they would hold that until, like you're talking about, the guys that are trained for that particular circumstance come in, or an armored truck that could roll up to it, or maybe gas them, or whatever the case may be. in order to get a beneficial resolution. But I think it was they just got antsy. Everybody wants to get their gun in the fight, right?
Yep.
No matter, like, oh, I got my gun. And I've seen that in a lot of cop videos when there's like standoffs or something that's like almost like a tactical type situation. Everybody's just trying to get their gun in the hole as if that's doing something. Like, as long as you're pulling security that way, your gun doesn't have to be like, oh, let me get my gun up here. It's like this. Like, y'all were looking that way. I'm trying to get my gun. It's like, man, just back it the hell up. We're good right here.
I got another video to show you guys alongside. Well,
let me finish this thought before you say
that. But going off of exactly what you said, this video is a perfect, and this was also in Florida with a different shootout, but it's a perfect.
Moving up with a concrete truck. Yeah.
It's a perfect example of just everyone wanting to get their guns in a fight and lighting up a vehicle until somebody stops shooting.
Well, the thing is, I've seen this personal experience. I've seen guys, one lone shooter that popped a couple shots, and then everybody forgets their responsibilities.
Yep.
360 and like turns because they want to get their gun on. Like, guys that train to shoot, I mean, it's not just like you want to go murder people, but you want to validate yourself as this protector or combat soldier, right? So when it's time to get your gun on, you're like, I'm getting my gun on, so I'm getting in this thing, right? Instead of being disciplined and saying, all right, hey, that's in Will's sector. Will's taking that.
It's hard.
I gotta face this way.
Yeah, right? It is. And just doing on the military side, that it is hard to, when you have your certain sectors of fire set up, and your sector's over here, and this guy's over here, he's getting action over here. You're just like, well, I mean, I can easily turn my gun and forward, but then you're missing the whole. It's discipline falls into it.
And well, what helps with that? One thing I say is obviously individual discipline for everybody. But one big thing is this: when you got a conglomerate of patrol officers, which, like you said, we don't really know what each officer's function was that was there on that scene, sergeant or just a regular patrol guy, whatever the hell. But somebody on the ground has to take charge and be the guy that's like, sucky position. That's why they get people in charge positions, like, because now you're not the primary shooter anymore. You're not number one man. You have to like take a step back and direct and organize traffic. Somebody has to get on the ground and say, hey, you stop fucking doing that. Have a wider perspective, a bigger picture view, instead of like just trying to get their gun in there and pull defense or pull security. So that helps out a lot. Because there's always going to be somebody that wants to be over aggressive. There's always going to be somebody that's like in their feelings, like super hyper aggressive, want to get their gun on in a situation so tense like that. That's why you have that guy that's a little more, established and understands. And he says, "Hey, Will, check it out. You just watch that way. That's it. You just watch that way." It's like the old school infantry tactics that we've all learned. Is like, hey, give them a 10 and 2, meaning a sector of fire. Give them some quick instructions, give them a buddy, and just tell them to hold what they got and don't do any damn thing else until I tell you, unless you see somebody trying to kill you, right? So same thing, you have to do that. Even in that moment, a fluid moment like that, somebody has to have that perspective on the ground quickly. He don't have to worry about his gun being up. He just stays low. He goes to you and says, hey, do this. You do that. Hey, move that freaking car. Hey, somebody start organizing these vehicles over here for this traffic to push up. Somebody turn your fucking sirens off so I can hear what I'm doing, because some people leave sirens on. I see that in cop all the time. So that's the biggest thing. Individual discipline, obviously, we want that. It's not going to happen for every guy in every situation. Somebody on the ground has to take charge and kind of organize the efforts in that situation, whether it be as fluid and fast as this happened or not. You have to be like, when I get out on the ground, if I'm the sergeant or the guy, I'm like, hey, I want to get my gun on so I can tell everybody one day when my career's over that I shot a guy, whatever. Put that aside, because that's not as important as what's going on the ground right now. Yeah. And if I can't get my gun on, so be it. I got to tell you what to do. I got to organize our efforts here. I think that's very important.
Yeah. So, and then another thing is there were people trying to get out of the way, and this is another thing. Not just the cops, but the people around them, guys. Like, zero common sense. Everyone, as soon as they start hearing fires, what do? Just hit the brakes and sit there, like, instead of...
Yeah, if I'm in the car with my kids, they're
I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I'm driving, I'm bumping people, I might slide in.
And there's one guy, in the helicopter views, there's a guy, I think he was in like a Jeep Cherokee or something like that. That's what he's doing. He's pushing 2 cars ahead. He's like, dude, I'm getting out of the line of fire. What are you guys doing sitting here? Yeah. Everyone just
Yeah,
freezes,
forget your car,
and
forget
then
the body work and all that. Like, move
or
up out of the way.
Or get out and get behind your vehicle.
Move.
And then why aren't the cops doing that as well? The cops that are, so there's one, they're in a silver car, cop shooting over the hood. He's basically right to the left of the vehicle. Why didn't that police officer or another police officer, near him, why didn't he open that car door, rip that person out, and put him behind the wheel, out of the line of fire? Why are you letting these civilians just stay in this direct line of fire and not doing it? You got 18 officers on there. There was enough bodies to clear civilians.
Not to mention, I bet you any money they were crossing sectors of fire on each other.
Yeah, there's a picture out there that shows all the lines of the sectors of fire. It's just 360 degrees all in here through all the vehicles. But another video that stood out to me, there's a inside one of the vehicles, somebody had a cell phone, which is fucking stupid. Also, get out of the way. Don't whip your phone out.
But the Instagram, dude.
Yeah, the grams. Gotta do it for the grams. There's a man on the outside of his vehicle, on the left side of his vehicle, and obviously the UPS truck is on his right side, and he's low, and a cop. Cop is running back to go to his cruiser to get behind cover with the rest of his buddy. He leaves the civilian there. He just pushes him right out of the way, and he's like, "I'm gonna go grab cover, dude. Like, peace. Like, I hope you make it. Like, why are you not grabbing that dude by the fucking collar of the shirt and dragging him with you? The whole job of a police officer is obviously, and the whole reason that you would even want to charge this truck is to take the threat out of normal." To get the threat around or away from these people, but you have no problem leaving these people in the immediate threat. It just doesn't compute to me. So
lack of training. What is the average officer? Where do they qualify? Once, Chad, what's your qualification? Once a year? Twice a year?
Not throw anybody under the bus, but they do it probably once, maybe twice a year.
Once or twice a year. How many guys get on the range all the time just to shoot?
On average, not very often.
Yeah.
It's not a priority. You got to understand there's a lot of paperwork involved in being a law enforcement officer. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. Mm-hmm. One interaction with a person, arresting them, it consumes about 45 minutes of your time with paperwork and booking and getting them to jail. It's just there's a lot of other stuff that gets prioritized higher due to what the job entails. You're a department face, and you spend more of your time doing that than pulling the trigger. So,
yeah, well, I mean that's a direct correlation of incidents like this. You know what I mean? Lack of training. We were talking about
it shows.
that. Yeah.
It needs to be prioritized higher, and that's a discussion that we've had in our department. So it's happening slowly but surely. I think a lot of people are coming around to understanding that training needs to be adjusted for the current events and times.
Hey, real quick. Have you guys seen Zee's mullet? Look at this thing. That thing, he's just whipping it out, man. He's got it going. He's been away for a little bit. Look at that.
Oh, God.
Got the hard part. Yeah, look at that.
Stop, Z. I'm wearing sweats, man. I'm on camera. Jeez. Everyone's going to see everything.
That boner away.
Oh, we didn't hook up crotch cam this week.
Oh, we didn't hook up crotch cam.
Z looks like he's 25 with that mullet.
I got to show you guys.
I'll wear it well.
You do. You're older than me, and I look older than you.
That was a good point that I was going to bring up after. For the next subject on this particular incident, Will, is what the bystanders. Like, we're always teaching, my little hashtag is capable citizens, right? And I always tip all these quick draw guys and all these guys, and I did an S12 event. Let me plug it. S12 event I did this weekend with Carrie Trainer. The whole theme was individual responsibility, individual self-defense for you and your family, right? Building skills, building up the scenarios where you defend yourself in likely scenarios, like, the gas station robbery situation, whatever the case may be. And I'd say 80% of all the students, 30-somethings, whatever students, they wanted to quick draw me, right, as the bad guy. 80% of them. And it's frustrating, really. And I tell everybody, just like in that situation, I like to get some video too because I'm interested in studying it. My wife is definitely going to want to get some video if we see something going on cool. Or I might want to be part of something, like I want to help save somebody if I have the ability to. But my first number one rule is always this: survive. Yeah. That doesn't mean shoot me or hey, what's going on over here, fellas? There's gunshots. I heard them. You know, survive first. Me survive so I can help my family, just like in the airplane thing. They say put your oxygen mask on first, because if you're dead, you don't help anybody. So survive first, get down. Kids, get down. Wife, get down. Where can we go to be safe? And now once you feel like you're safe, or you know you're in a safe spot, do whatever. Hey, you goes this way, let me get my gun out and see if I can help. Let me get a tourniquet on this guy, or let me video if I want to, you know, if I'm safe distance. I don't give a shit. That's just the age we're in, right? Everybody wants to get a video. We want that shock and awe on the internet. I got it first. You heard it here first. Right? But always survive first. These guys, if your car's sitting there, I want to see what, everybody's got turkey necks. I want to see what's going on. What kind of wreck is that? I'm interested. But if it looks like there's gunshots, keep moving. I don't give a shit what you say. If you get mad at me because I bumped your car, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not trying to give my kids a family shot.
Especially not just hearing gunshots, but hearing 200 gunshots.
Well, yeah, but that one.
Hey, listen, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's some shit going down.
Yeah.
But I just think the police officers' I don't know, I wouldn't even say mentality, but just their idea that they all just wanted to get rounds on target instead of helping anybody else would just...
What? Marty's called you a wet burrito like 4 times already.
What is a wet burrito?
I don't know.
What's a wet burrito, Chad?
Chad, what's a wet burrito? He said you got a rat tail, too.
I'm not sure about wet burrito. That's something from the Patreon class, but he says your mullet looks like a rat tail.
A rat tail?
No. Crazy.
It's don't lie for a rat tail.
Yeah.
Don't
What he's
let
doing
them
is
talk to you
he's
like
trying
that,
to poke
Zee.
the bear.
Okay, here's
He's trying to poke the bear.
Here you go. So
I think we were talking about wet burritos when we went out to eat.
Don't poke the bear. I rolled with Zee one time, and I was trying to break his guard, and I dug my elbows as hard as I could into his thighs, which is supposed to make you open up your guard a little bit so you can pass the guard. And Zee started smiling at me, and I'm like, Zee, this is not how it's supposed to go. And he was like, I choose not to feel the pain, right? And that was the end of it. I was like, all right, we're done. That's it.
I'm a masochist.
Yeah.
It felt kind of good. It was like a massage.
ridiculous.
What are we looking at?
What you got?
I was trying to pull up that video of the
Looked like you had a rape dolphin video up there for a second. I thought we were
helicopter.
going to see some rape.
Chad, what questions do we got? We got some questions in there?
Not really.
Do that.
Not really. I've been watching that screen go crazy.
They're talking about random crap.
They're having conversations.
Oh, gotcha.
Do you guys have any questions for him? Light them up.
See, this guy knows what's up. He's
What's up,
like,
Levi?
I'm getting out of here.
Well, I got to go. Look, the guy behind him too was like, hey, move over.
Blow that up and face it towards the camera.
Let's see if I can get some
Heart-stopping.
straight footage of it. All right, so here's the cell phone footage. I don't know if Chad will be able to snag that or not, but Chad, you want to zoom in on that? Can we do that real quick? Is that possible?
This high-speed technology we got here. Inset.
On your camera? You can't do that?
Hold on.
Oh, we should have set up 2 cameras for this one.
Definitely.
A heads up ahead of time would have been nice.
Hey, I thought you said you can get this done in 10 minutes, Chad.
And
Hey, but we were almost on time this time. Was it like 7:03? 7:04? Something like that.
I could do this, but it might mess it up.
No, it's fine. We don't have to do it. That's
All right. Yeah, you guys can do your own video searching. But yeah, basically, there's a ton of vehicles that are trying to get out of the way, and then there's a ton of people that are just, you know, deer in the headlights that just stay in one spot because, of course, nothing could ever bad happen in their life. So they're like, oh, this can't be happening. So if you're in that situation, just get the fuck out of the way and let the people that are semi-trained to handle a situation like that handle a situation.
survive it, like Z says.
Yeah.
I think, here's the thing from the training perspective, right? So if I'm a police officer or a department or whatever, law enforcement agency of some sort, where's our training going to go? And I know it's getting popular and more popular. I mean, it's, from my little perspective, looking at social media and the law enforcement agencies and officers that I know of, it's getting popular to train with these guys that can shoot real well. And I understand shooting a pistol, awesome, that is great. You don't get caught up in the tunnel vision and the tunnel of training that says, hey, I got to get good at these drills with my pistol, because that's very isolated training and skill right there. That's just one skill level. I need to be able to put all these complex things together. So it is, yes, you have to be acceptably capable, acceptably effective with your pistol. No cop needs to be as good as JJ Rakaza, I think I'm saying that right, or any of those guys. No cop needs to be that good. That's great, that'd be beneficial, yeah, but
completely two different styles of shooting though.
I need to build up
two different styles of shooting.
individual skills, individual training, meaning I need to be comfortable in this range with somebody without a lethal weapon. I need to be comfortable getting this out quickly and hitting what I intend to hit under stress. I need to be comfortable with doing physical things to a certain degree. I don't have to be an Olympic athlete. I just got to be comfortable where I don't gas out in a 1 minute
chase or
balls to the wall exchange, right? And then I have to be tactically sound, meaning I need to build up throughout that year. In my training, to start out, my preparation, my baseline has to build up, right? Through your Toledo is here, Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Agency or whatever, through their academy, needs to build up kind of that way and then learn all the policies and procedures of police officers. But for doing the job, get all those individual skills, and now you need to have the culmination exercises like we do in the military. Yes, we have the benefit of having time off and not having to do patrols until it's time to deploy or do something like that. But that's also something that you need a larger force, and I know that's hard to come by too. A larger force where you can rotate out the shifts better, more time off, more time towards training. However we could do it, and that's out of my lane. I really don't know how to skin that cat, but there has to be culmination, meaning good at one thing in that one vacuum of a circumstance doesn't mean you're good at putting it all together in a real life situation. That's why we need culmination events. Culmination events meaning I take all those individual skills and I put it together in a scenario with relative stress, or at least the closest amount of stress and chaos that I can create that represents a real situation. You can only get so far, right? But as close as I can get, that's necessary for those police officers. That is necessary. That would build up the ability to understand what bullets do around vehicles. Like that'd be part of my individual training. Like how does my bullets that I carry for my weapon, my duty gun, work with the typical makeup of vehicles that you find out there. What am I safe behind this? And there's plenty of courses like that. And then also, how do we organize people that are all operating in 1 or 2 man teams, 1 man individually or 2 man teams, and then organize everybody together? That's a practice or an exercise for somebody on the ground to take charge and take over. And that should be for all the police officers, because sometimes you might be the senior guy even though you're not really high on the totem pole in the agency or the department, right? So I get on the ground, I have to see the big picture, like, all right, I got a gun there, I got a gun there, I don't need to put my gun up there. I need to make sure that everything else is being done. So that you get that in there in the culmination exercises. You also get in there just not getting that tunnel vision and getting overly excited, like everybody's shot. So because we'll do that in training, we'll do it. We'll screw it up, we'll blah, 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 and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it and like, why in the fuck didn't you do what we were supposed to do in that room? Because you're being over aggressive, and whether or not, even just them being embarrassed because we're shedding light on it, like, what are you doing, man? That's enough to change them forever at that point. The guys will start getting better at that.
Plan goes out the window when you hear the rounds start coming in.
All right. You got to train that out of you. It's not good enough to be good, have individual skills. You have to have culmination events and training in order to give you the full spectrum of chaos, stress, putting more things together than just shooting a target or even discriminate. Still, you talk about, well, they do stuff like they do Rogers Range, or where you got to discriminate targets and do lasers. That's still just in a vacuum.
But you still know what you're doing. You still know what the drill is, and not
There's
only
still
that,
only one moving part.
Yeah.
You need multiple moving parts. You need to organize that.
And with that, if you get your other guys to train with you, a lot of those situations right there, you don't even know, like us, we can go to the range, I know how you're going to shoot, I know what you're going to do, right? A lot of these guys don't shoot with their partners, or don't shoot with you got 18 guys there. I bet you any money, half those guys didn't know what the other half of the guys were going to do or how they were going to react, respond, anything.
Right.
They were just going to pull their gun out. So that's not only a liability to anyone out there, but it's also a liability to you because you don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't know if they're, on the same level as you are, if you're training or anything
What's
like that.
our standard operating procedures for, shooting and fighting around vehicles? How do we normally move? What's our verbiage that we use? Hey, you got me. Have you even done that? Have you ever got into vehicles, got out of vehicles under fire? Like something simple like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've trained this with special forces teams. Even them, with their degree of training, they still have to stay current on that stuff. They have to get out and remind themselves, all right, on a vehicle, I need to step out and put myself in fire in order to give somebody the corridor to get back behind cover, and then I step back in, and doing things like that are different around a vehicle because it's almost like being in a hallway. You want to stay tight, but you don't want to be unsafe, right? So all those things, that's very important. It's all these moving parts, and you're not going to act well or perform well under stress in a chaotic event with all those moving parts, all those different people that are, if they're not being organized effectively, if you don't ever expose yourself to that. If you're just expecting to show up in Miramar or whatever it was, Florida, and shit hit the fan, and you're supposed to just miraculously come up with these skills that you've never done before, or maybe you did one time years ago, right? It's not going to miraculously happen. It's either there or it's not.
It's like the cold start drills that we've been doing, doing that stuff. You're not actively thinking about shooting at that point. You're cognitively concentrating on the task.
Yeah,
and
the individual skills there.
Marksmanship comes naturally because how
You've trained that in there, right? And that's what we need to train to the subconscious. I should be thinking about shooting. I should be good enough to where the shooting takes over. But what's going to make that shooting worse is I'm overcome by all the other external events going on. So I need to practice shooting under stress. If I can just hit this big of even if I'm not hitting note cards and all that shit that you can do, I'm just hitting this. Just a big old square. When I'm scared as hell, that's good enough. And maybe once I see a reaction, then I'll calm down a little bit.
I just think it was the completely wrong guys for this event. I just think it's just you're bringing a bunch of random dudes together and you want them to perform automatically. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a bad day. It's just like grabbing a bunch of dudes out of the motor pool, like some mechanics be like, oh, go run this house or something like that. Go roll these dudes up. Like they're gonna be like, I'll just shoot them, I guess. Like I don't know really what to do here. So I think it was just the wrong people trying to do some cowboy shit, and they were definitely not prepared.
Well, let's ad lib. There's a couple, and it's not cops bashing day, right? I love our police officers. I just want them to be capable, just like I want citizens, you and me. I want us to be capable. If you carry a gun, I expect you to be ready to use that gun in the circumstances that you bought it for, meaning a life-threatening situation, meaning there's going to be a lot of stress and chaos, and it's not good enough to be able to at the range and pick it up off of a bench and shoot a couple times and put it down thinking that you're going to act accordingly under stress. So the same thing that I want for everybody looking is what I want for police officers. I want you to be able to act acceptably well under stress. You're not going to have perfect shots. You're not going to have perfect actions. But can I be acceptably capable in that situation? Organize my efforts, right? That's what we want. That's all we're saying. But there's other situations. I don't know how recent these are. I've got a very small level of understanding for the totality of events on these situations, but you might have seen them lately. Instagram, social media all around. You've seen the girl that I think there was a call at some house and about a dog or something. They're going outside and the guy's got the gun in his hand. And he shoots the female police officer like in the leg as he's coming out the door, just keeping his finger on the trigger and kind of amped up. And then there's one recently, I just seen this, and I plan on reviewing this video and doing maybe a talk about it. But it was this female officer went to a house, I forget where it is, a disturbance was called about, and she come up to the house and there was this grown man, I think he looked about 40 maybe, big guy, lived with his mother. And she's out front, and she come and make contact with the guy. And she's like, hey, I'm here to blah, blah, blah. And he just walks off from her. Well, first off, she starts turning it into a challenge of my authority versus I can't let you do that because of safety, which I understand. I can't see, I want to know if there's a dangerous situation and he disappears, I don't know what he's going to put in his hand or in his pocket or wherever. So I got to keep eyes on him. But it quickly becomes a tit for tat authority struggle.
And then that's where it gets aggressive in a way.
And that's where that guy, she keeps yelling at him and doesn't de-escalate the situation. And eventually, it's a sheriff's deputy, so she does. If most sheriff's departments don't have quick response like the police departments do, because they're so spread out in the counties, right? She's calling for backup, and she's telling that guy to come back downstairs. He sits on the stairs, which would be good enough for me until my backup gets there, especially if there's a size and force disparity. She's a small woman, he's a great big man, and she's just yelling out, get down here now. And really, it's just a poor situation in general. She ends up shooting the mother, accidentally, in a struggle. And she's so overcome by events, it shows her partner finally shows up, kicks the guy in the face, and gets on top of him and is holding him. And the other police officer, our deputy, is instructing her what to do, because from her camera perspective, she just takes the gun and sits it down because she's like overcome by all the events, right? She's just stressed out. I shot the mother. This guy, my buddy's on top of the suspect, and she sit her gun down. He's like, hey, put your gun in your holster, and he's telling her, look at your holster. She's trying to put it up because she's overcome, right? She's lost her thought. She's lost her composure, right? He's like, put the gun in the holster. Come here. I got his hands here. Put the cuffs on him, right? He's basically talking her through it. That situation is it's very apparent of what their ability or her specific ability to handle stress in a very likely scenario. A man that is not cooperating and he gets violent with you, even if you're a woman, and you are the person that is supposed to control this situation, right? That's a likely scenario. We've had that happen in Clarksville. Jen Rankin, I know her, I used to know her ex-husband. I'm friends with him, and I know her. She's the one that you might have heard about at the cinema, at the movie theater. She went in there was a guy that was causing problems. He made a big scene because he took popcorn out of the trash can, the one that's the refill, and he tried to get it refilled. And then when she showed up, he tried to fight her, tried to hit her. She promptly put his ass on the ground, got control of him. Why? Well, she's got a lot of training under her belt. But really, it's not because she just had that individual skill, but she's been in situations where men my size have tried to smother her, tried to submit her, tried to hold her down, tried to fight back against her, and she was composed in that moment because of the pressure testing that she had been through up to that point. Yeah. Right? So it's good to have individual skills. We have to pressure test it, whether that be just individual scenarios, whether that be culmination exercises where we have, like the cops in the Florida shooting with the UPS driver, guys getting online and me just having to organize it and paying attention to your left and right as you're moving, being aware of where's our direction of fire, where are we orienting our fire, is this guy looking at me, is this a Polish ambush? No offense to Polish people out there, but that's just what they call it.
Do you want to explain what that is?
They call it Polish ambush. You heard Polak jokes, right? People make fun of Polish people for being stupid. I don't know where that came from. It's kind of like part of our culture, but I don't agree with it. Polak people, Polish people, I love you.
You're just digging, dude.
Anyway,
digging.
Think what you will. I don't give a shit. But if you're facing each other trying to ambush somebody, the bullets are coming back at me, and my bullets are going towards them. So, call it a Polish ambush.
I'm surprised that officer didn't get shot by his own dude. And I don't know where the 70-year, it was a 70-year-old male, I believe. He also got hit. I don't necessarily know where he was, what vehicle he was in, or anything like that. I tried to.
Well, he's 70. Even if he was trying to get out of the way, he might have had a little trouble doing that.
Yeah, I don't know where he was exactly or how he got hit, but he passed as well. So, and then another one, which a chick at the jewelry store got.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Shame on UPS, right? They couldn't even take care of that dude's funeral. They set up a GoFundMe for that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they set up a
that.
They didn't.
It was his day off too. He's filling in for somebody.
He was off. That was not his normal route.
They did a GoFundMe for him, and they wouldn't even pay for his funeral. That's
God bless him. He had kids.
Yeah, he did. Two kids.
Looked like a younger fella from the pictures I've seen. I don't remember what they said his age was, but God bless him, and I hate that situation for him. We definitely hate that. We never want to see that happen.
Yeah, not at all. What else
Well,
you got?
I wish you could carry a gun on him. Maybe if he is a UPS driver and could
You know what's
carry a
crazy?
gun.
Jerry used to tell us, he said when he first started working for UPS or UPS driver at the retail store, he said his first like 4 or 5 years he carried a gun until they stopped him from doing it.
Yeah, we don't want you protecting yourself.
Yeah. Don't want that liability.
Rely on the Polish ambush. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you might have, if I know I'm about to die, maybe I get in a hostage situation as a UPS driver, which UPS driver, I mean, it seems, I've never been one, but common sense tells me that they see a lot of people. They get around the city a lot. They encounter different people. They encounter dogs. They encounter all kinds of shit, right? I don't know what I might find myself in. Why would I legally be able to carry something to protect me and mine, right? And in that situation, maybe they say, hey, it looks like they're just going to kill you anyway. Well, I'll go for broke. Or maybe I will just pull my gun out and fight you, right? I just got to go for broke because look, I'm gonna die anyway. So neither here nor there, but it shows you where I stand as far as carrying to protect yourself. If anybody has access to a lethal weapon, you should have access to a lethal weapon. So if you can have it, or criminals can have it, or anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can have it illegally, I should be able to have it legally, right? Even that playing field. But you know, the gun laws are working good for New York and Chicago, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a shit show.
Sanctuary cities.
That is a shit
where
show.
you go to be safe.
What else you guys got for us? Damn, my hands are sweaty. Look at that.
I do. I don't know
Man, fucking being so close to that mullet,
Yeah,
dude. It's
yeah,
getting
heat
jacked
coming off
up,
of it,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
You can use it like a towel for yourself.
Every time you move your head really fast, man, I catch a little breeze from it, dude. I'm like, dang, dude.
Trying to challenge that beard.
I'm getting so warm over here. I might have to start stripping.
Take it off.
Take it off.
What else we got?
Marty asked, what's a good barrel for running in the winter? Actually, what's a good way to run your rifle in freezing conditions?
The same way that you do it in the summertime.
Yes, neglect.
You shoot it, it gets warm.
Yeah.
So what
shoot
you
it, warm
do,
up.
get a jug of antifreeze.
No, don't.
You're gonna pour it on your rifle, let it marinate for at least 24 hours.
Hey,
You know, and you're good to go.
make,
Don't listen to Will.
make sure that you drain your oil and put antifreeze in where that goes too, just to stop your engine oil from freezing.
Wear a sock on your penis.
But Marty, there's
And do that.
no such thing as a cold weather barrel or anything like that. Your normal rifle that you run will do the trick perfectly for you.
Start off doing one shot every couple seconds until it gets a little warm. Don't go out there and let her rip.
Wear gloves because the metal's cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or wear mittens
Mittens.
with a finger.
Not the one, not the socks on your hand though.
You wear a sock on your hand.
Yeah, just not the one that you put on your penis. Don't wear your penis sock on your hand. You'll be
I
okay.
had orders to Alaska one time, and that's one of my buddies told me, he's like, hey, when you go running in the mornings, like, you need to put a sock on your penis.
Fort
Tip will
drum.
freeze.
Same thing, Fort drum.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That happened to me snowmobiling last year. I had to stop. I was like, dude.
Just like your fingers get cold, like
Yeah.
the end of your other dick.
Hey, turtle just goes in a shell and it's fine.
The turtle goes in your belly
Lie on
button.
that body.
In your belly button.
I don't know if he took it serious or not. He said, okay, cool, thanks.
What? Hey,
No, in all
disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
In
One
all
quick disclaimer.
seriousness, yep, just start off shooting. You want to shoot one round every couple seconds till you're about 10 rounds in, and then you'll be good to go. You don't need to over lubricate. You don't need to do any of that stuff. So you'll be good. You'll be fine.
Well, thanks for that off-subject question.
Yeah.
Stick with the subject, Marty.
Yeah.
McFly. Knock on your head like that. So disclaimer out there, like,
This is why
we're not cops. I'm not a cop. I've never been one. I tried to be one time, but I got a vast criminal background. Don't tell anybody though. Don't tell anybody. But we love cops, and it'd be better if we had cops' input. So if there's somebody out there that's a police officer, give us your input.
Chad's
One day
right
we'll have
here.
one on here. I mean, but
I'm a deputy that works the courthouse. It's a little.
Yeah, I mean, same.
he's been on
Don't downplay yourself, Chad.
he's been on the beat, you know,
Thank you
cracking
for your service,
cases,
Chad.
cracking cases.
Cracking heads.
Yeah.
Nah.
Sherry says lick the barrel before when
Yeah.
it's cold.
Okay,
Okay.
Sherry, you've been hanging
Sherry
around Carl
Champagne.
too much.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Sherry Champagne, she's one of
We don't
Carl's
know.
patrons.
Oh,
And Carl has this habit of licking guns that he likes, so I guess Sherry wants.
I think she
Have I
did
met
that so
Sherry?
his tongue would stick to the barrel when it's cold.
Yeah. Probably.
don't face it towards you and lick it.
And Marty just said, Sherry, I lick my barrel every day.
Okay.
Solid.
You're a nasty mofo. You're a trucker.
How else are you gonna lubricate?
Who is
Spin on
mine?
Yeah.
Is it?
Marty from Patriot Event.
Just spin on it.
He's a trucker too, like
Yeah.
Bunyard.
Yeah.
All right, what else you guys got? What time is it? 7:52.
Oh, we almost
Dude,
made an hour.
Flew by.
Don't get an Apple Watch, dude.
I know.
It's like stand up. I've been standing up for the last hour.
Tells me to breathe sometimes.
Yeah, that's when
It
you're
does
stressed
tell
out.
me to breathe all
That's
the
when you're
time.
stressed out.
That's why I get.
Whenever
the
I'm about to
notification
get-
every
It's
10
nice
minutes.
doing the breathing exercise.
Whenever I'm heated, it's like, ping, breathe. I'm like, all right.
And I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me
I'm
I'm
breathing,
alive.
stupid.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
And it always tells you, it says breathe. If you just start breathing better, it'll reduce your stress level. I'm like, how do you know?
Breathe better.
Yeah.
She said, plus I had bulletproof implants. She
Yeah.
really does.
I'm gonna take health advice from a artificial intelligence. No.
Hey, man, it might be right.
Yeah, probably knows better than we do.
I bet you Siri lives
It's
longer
all
than you,
diagnostics,
Chad.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Siri's gonna take over the world like on the
Hey,
Terminator.
Siri can leave me alone. I'm
machines.
happy over here in my pre-diabetic condition. All right.
Pre-diabetic condition, okay.
Hey, so,
All right. Do we got anything else? Any new updates? Any?
Hey,
anything
next week on the show, we're going to talk about the Glock 44, the new 22 that just came out.
Nice.
oh my god.
about for a long time.
Yeah, just for a little bit. I didn't say that though, because I
Sure,
can't, because I signed something.
Sherry just
He didn't sign anything.
Sherry just informed us she has bulletproof implants.
We can see the
Hey, it's
TV.
out now.
Yeah.
We can say whatever we want now.
Yeah.
We can
So we're going to talk about that Glock 22, which is a Glock 44, which is, man, I'm
Why
telling you.
is there a demand for that? Like to train people on a
you
22?
know-
Because
you know what?
as a trainer for new shooters, you got to give them a
They're
22
okay.
to start out.
So
work
check
the
this thing out.
fundamentals.
This Glock 22, which is the Glock Model 44, which I don't know why they do this,
It's
but
because they just go up in numbers.
no, it's by the patent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
goes up in numbers.
So
Confuses the hell out of
it does. It
It
does.
does, yeah.
So it is basically a Glock 45, the 9mm 45, just in a 22. It's got a polymer hybrid slide on there, so it's got a
So
steel.
it's single stack.
It is single stack, 10 rounds.
Yeah.
10
Which-
round magazine.
I didn't get that one.
If
They're
somebody's
gonna
gonna
be
carry a
making
22, I
higher
want a bunch.
capacity
They have to.
Six
That
shot
doesn't make
shows
sense.
every
No,
Why
man,
would
I'm
you
telling you
just
right
stick
now,
with 10 rounds?
that 10 round mag fits all the way in there, and 10 rounds goes to the bottom. I don't know if it's because the follower's really big or what, but
Yeah,
it's-
but you're talking 20. You can put 20 rounds in that mag, easy.
No, I understand
double
that. I
stack
don't
it.
know. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I mean, if you double stack it, but feeding a double stack on rimfire cartridges usually doesn't work.
Yeah, but even the little 10 rounders for bolt actions are only like that long.
Yeah.
And they're double stacked.
Well, who's carrying the 22 for self-defense?
I don't know if
I
it's
think.
more for
Assassins?
self-defense.
I mean, maybe, but I think.
It's right there behind the ear.
I think it's really good for like your kids, like
Yeah.
getting your kids into shooting.
in training. I mean,
In
it's the
training.
same size.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know if there was any functionality, but for the self-defense perspective, it's more of the because I know gun instructors all the time like use 22s. Like
Yeah.
even in the NRA course I did, like it's like you can take the test with a 22, a light trigger, with any kick, or you can do it with your own weapon. I don't know why you wouldn't do it with your own fucking gun. But brand new shooters, to get them the fundamentals and the understanding of the fundamentals without the fear of the bang, yeah, 22 all day long.
I will never pay attention to that NRA shit. From that poster at Jerry's.
I got that from that class.
I will never do that. If you guys have never seen, you got your Glock on you?
Yeah.
Pull it out.
One, two, three.
Thank you, sir. All right, so in the little, what is it? A picture, whatever. They literally have you holding the Glock
Instructional
like this.
poster.
Yes,
It's not real.
I swear to God, is it not real?
real.
It's an NRA poster, and they have you holding it like this.
That's probably
You sure it's
some
not?
shit that's
It's
made up.
explaining where you
It's for
freaking have to.
establishing a good grip.
It is literally an NRA poster at Hilltop Training Facility.
is.
Some of those are outdated.
It is.
He's literally holding it like this. I swear to God.
I'm an NRA certified basic.
Put a
pistol
suppressor
instructor
on
as
it.
well, and yes, it's one of the posters, and it's referring to establishing a good grip.
Well, I think it's giving you an example of like,
Yeah.
if I could do this, I would do that.
I'm not-
Yeah.
But I can't get, like, I would hold it all the way from the back. You know? Can't do that.
Haters gonna hate.
Put NRA instructional. All right, what else we got? Do we got anything else?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So next week we're going to have Kalwa, 2 Alpha to Quinn on the show. We're going to have Z back here, me and Will, and we're going to go over that Glock 44, show you guys some range footage from that, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
You know what we need to do is put your little baby cam. It's like that long on there.
The Gemtech.
That's a little assassin gun right there.
Yeah.
I bet you that dude.
Just
was
see a
Well,
threaded
if we
barrel.
plan ahead, we can put that video footage on here and I can play it for them.
We'll say we're going to do it, but we probably
Plan
won't.
ahead.
Yeah.
Or we could just put it on a bootleg freaking screen.
What else? We got anything else new here
No, that's
that we
it.
got going on?
Hey, we got some pretty cool stuff that's coming out before SHOT Show, so pay attention to the website. Also, if you guys have any pending orders right now, we are burning through them as quickly as possible. Got RD shipping every day. The 1911 will be gone probably the second week of January, so look for some shipping confirmation on that.
Any organizations, if you want training, of course we do my regular instructional
Shameless plug.
Instructor Z. Yeah, hey, I'm here for you. Instructor Z training, right, for individuals, open enrollment, but organizations, asset the company I'm with, we will facilitate setting up these culmination exercises that we're talking about, putting you through stress, giving you relative stress, and while you're utilizing the individual skills that you need to have, right? So we can do that through Jerry's at Hilltop. We can do tactical mobility, shooting in and around vehicles, all that good stuff. And if you're not with me, go somewhere the fuck else, but get the training, right? So I don't give a shit. I want you to have the capability. Take that to the fucking bank.
Thank you. I've literally been waiting on that all night.
All right,
To the bank.
we are good to go. We'll see you guys next week.